Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and I'm a full-time reseller on both eBay and Amazon, and today we are talking about profitable Blu-rays. I promised in my DVD video if that one did well I would do a Blu-ray version, and you guys really showed up for the DVD video. So this is me holding up my end of the bargain. Same criteria as last time. We're not doing TV series, we're not doing concert films, just US released movies that are profitable. And a lot of these are profitable because they happen to be out of print, so this is sort of like a focus on out of print Blu-rays. I'm also trying to keep it so that it's any release of a specific title, so it's not just, hey, the 4K version's worth money, or hey, the Steelbook version's worth money. Like, if you find the specific title, you've probably found money. And I'm trying to keep it to just titles people have actually heard of or seen before, so not obscure stuff. I'm also not doing any horror, because horror could be like an entire YouTube video by itself. And you also have to understand this is targeted at people who are getting them cheap at like garage sales, thrift stores, flea markets, that sort of thing. So like if you're finding them for a couple bucks, it's really exciting to find something you could sell for $20, even if it was selling for $30 brand new at Best Buy like just a few years ago. So like keep that in mind. Also, there's just way too many Blu-rays to cover, so this is just sort of a fun selection that I have curated. So without further ado, let's get into US released Blu-ray movies that are probably out of print and profitable. Roll the intro. First up is the movie Cadillac Man with Robin Williams. In my last video, a lot of people talked about specific distributors as things to look for that have value as far as resale goes. Like, instead of thinking of specific titles, you should think of specific distributors. Your Acorn, your Arrow, your Criterion, Shout Factory, Vinegar Syndrome, that kind of thing. Or just checking on anything that's a Steelbook or 4K, because those usually have value as well. I think that's great advice, except not every film released under every single one of those distributors ends up being worth money. So I'm just using my videos to highlight specific titles, instead of doing like a blanket of distributors to look for or attributes, because I think it's helpful to plant specific titles in there too. And also some thrift stores like put stickers in weird places so you're not like easily able to look at the spines and pick out certain things. I don't know, I just think it never hurts to have like a single title planted in there here and there. One such distributor is Kino Lorber, which happens to be the distributor for Cadillac Man, which is probably why it's worth money, because of this specific distributor and the fact that it's out of print. The lowest sold in 90 days on eBay was $66.99. I honestly don't remember this film at all. I don't think I've ever watched it. And reading the synopsis, I'm not terribly interested in watching it either. But at least one of my favorite Robin Williams films is Bicentennial Man, followed by Death to Smoochie, so like maybe I'm not the best person to take movie recommendations from. In my defense, I just really like androids. I'm a sci-fi girl. Shocker. We got a little Ori coming into the frame. I don't think he's gonna stay though. I'm not really sure what his intentions are. Yep, he's gonna slink away. What are we doing? Pick a spot, my guy. All right, so sticking with sci-fi, let's slide into our next title, which is Cocoon. A few people mentioned Cocoon in the comments of my last video. Cocoon was actually already on my list of profitable Blu-rays because, unlike some of the other films I'll talk about, I've actually seen Cocoon. No, all right. With a name like Cosmic, obviously I love a good alien plotline. I don't know if Cocoon is considered a good movie. Like, do people like Cocoon? Do people have good things to say about it? They must, in order for somebody to be paying like $40 and up for a used copy of Cocoon on Blu-ray. Basically, Cocoon is like old people break into a house that has a pool with some aliens in it, and it's like a fountain of youth, and basically, oh, the old people are acting young again. And then at the end, they all get taken to the alien planet to be young forever, and it's like, okay, cool.
I have to go now. My planet needs me.
It has the song Gravity by Michael Sembello in it. You might remember Michael Sembello from Maniac fame. That was like his big one-hit wonder. But if we're gonna be speaking of movies with Michael Sembello songs in them, I also want to mention the movie Summer Lovers. He has the titular title song for that as well. Summer Lovers is a movie that approximately 5 people have seen, and I am one of those 5. It's also worth money. It's also a Kino Lorber release. It was also released on Twilight Time as well, I think. It doesn't matter which release you find of Summer Lovers, they're both worth about $20 and up on eBay. Basically, that movie can be summed up as a couple become a throuple in Santorini. It was okay. Like, I don't know if I'd recommend it, but definitely listen to Michael Sembello songs. I personally love Automatic Man. It's one of my favorite songs, and the music video is crazy. Check that out. And of course, I can't make a valuable Blu-ray video without mentioning Airheads. I also had some people mention that in the comments of my last video, and again, it was on my list already because it's a grail at this point. We're talking easily $200 to $300 on eBay for Airheads. I've seen Airheads, but it's been a very long time. We're talking whenever it was like on TV, like way back when. I think it's important to point out here that if you see a title that says MOD on eBay, that means manufactured or made on demand. There are some distributors that put out discs on demand like that, but for the most part on eBay, a lot of it is just people trying to disguise that they did homemade copies and they're distributing their own illegal versions of the movie. So that's why some things like that are on eBay and they're selling for a lot less money. They're usually inauthentic. Another commonly talked about profitable Blu-ray that I can't not mention is Bedazzled. That movie sells on eBay for around $80 if you can find it. It's available for rental and purchase digitally, so like if you wanted to watch it, there are options that are much cheaper that you could. I think I've seen this movie once or twice on TV as well, and it wasn't like memorable enough to stick with me and make me want to watch it again, especially not for $80. Next is the film Return to Oz. This one was a Disney Movie Club exclusive, which explains the value. Disney Movie Club shut down for good in May, and with it went all of the exclusive titles. This means that a lot of the exclusives with their really distinct yellow borders have effectively gone out of print. When that happens, FOMO sets in and the price starts jumping higher and higher. I've read that Sony is going to be picking up physical distribution of Disney's titles now that they're not doing the movie club. So a lot of them might end up coming back into production, but as of right now, they're out of print and the prices are way up high. I could boil this entire section down to look for yellow border Disney Movie Club exclusive Blu-rays. It's really hard to go wrong. They're basically all worth money right now. I'm gonna pluck Return to Oz specifically though, because I watched the crap out of this movie growing up. There was a time in my girlhood that I was like absolutely obsessed with Oz lore, and Return to Oz is more in line with the original like dark and bizarre tone of the Oz books. A lot of people say this movie is nightmare fuel, and I would have to agree, but like not scary enough that I only watched it once and never watched it again. I watched it constantly, and I would definitely recommend it if you've never seen Return to Oz before. As far as those Disney Movie Club exclusive releases go, like I said, take your pick. They're all worth money. Your Cool Runnings, either one of the Goofy movies, hell, The Pacifier with Vin Diesel even has some meat on the bones. Another profitable Blu-ray to look for is Cruel Intentions. It's out of print, and that's really the only indicator I can see of why that particular movie has value. I haven't personally seen this movie, and it doesn't look like something that I would really be interested in watching. It seems to sell pretty consistently on eBay for over $30, so like there's obviously a lot of people who do want to see it. When I was looking at the sold listings for Cruel Intentions, I saw a 2-pack with Jawbreaker pop up. And so I looked, and Jawbreaker is also worth money. That one is worth about $25 in used condition on eBay if you find it. That's another one of those like late 90s movies that I was not really the right age for at the time it came out, and then didn't really have much interest in seeing as an adult. Let's talk about Ernest. I don't know what it is, but I was absolutely obsessed with Ernest movies growing up. I ended up buying the Essential Ernest DVD from like Walmart in the mid 2000s. Ernest only has I think it's only three of his movies on Blu-ray, and that is Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Goes to Jail, and Ernest Scared Stupid. Only the last one, Ernest Scared Stupid, is worth money. That one is worth about $35 on eBay. And continuing with my absolute shit movie opinions, I like Ernest Goes to Camp best. That montage song lived rent-free in my head for years growing up. There were 3 movies I talked about in my valuable DVD video where I said that the Blu-ray versions were also worth money, so I'm gonna revisit them here. That was Dogma, which sells on eBay for around $70. 28 days later, not 28 weeks later, that sells for about $45 if you can find it. And then Sling Blade, which sells for around $35. I don't know if it's common knowledge, but the director of Napoleon Dynamite went on to make another kind of Napoleon Dynamite-esque movie called Gentleman Broncos. Gentleman Broncos sells for about $50 and up on Blu-ray on eBay if you can find it. Napoleon Dynamite is really polarizing, but I am on the side that like adores Napoleon Dynamite. I have never seen Gentleman Broncos though, because every time I'd look into it, because as somebody who likes Napoleon Dynamite, I should like Gentleman Broncos, but much like Napoleon Dynamite, the reviews are polarizing, and I'm like, lightning rarely strikes twice, so maybe the reviews are like telling the truth and it's really a bad movie. That said, I am gonna check out Gentleman Broncos. I am, after I film this video. There's also the movie Short Circuit. They sell for about $20 a piece. There's also a Short Circuit 1 and 2 2-pack Blu-ray that you can sell for around $40 on eBay. Oddly enough, the movie 9 Months with Hugh Grant is worth money. That one is about $25 on eBay. So I understand that when a Blu-ray goes out of print, it typically ends up worth money, because if you can't buy it anymore, you know, supply and demand happens. I understand the value of collecting out of print media and having a collection of physical media. I do, I understand. But usually, if there's no demand, the price does not go up. Someone has to want it to cause that demand spike and the price to go up, right? So with that in mind, somebody please explain to me why Taxi with Jimmy Fallon and Queen Latifah is worth around $50. Is this some sort of like slept on masterpiece? Because I have never heard anybody talking about that movie, and I don't know why the value is what it is. Clearly, there must be a lot of somebodies who want to watch it and own it. I'm gonna cap this one off with one of the only movies on this list that I would actually pay inflated prices for, and I'll admit that it doesn't really fit the criteria of movies people have heard of, but like, I just have to mention it. And that is the movie Space Cop from Red Letter Media. I asked for it for Christmas one year when they were still selling copies at regular price, and no one got it for me. I doubt you're gonna find this one in the wild, because if you looked at it, you'd be like, what the is this? Like, this doesn't look like something that's worth money. It looks really amateurish. But it is, because Red Letter Media is like your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTuber. You know, a lot of people really love and revere them. But if for some strange reason you come across Space Cop on Blu-ray, it's worth about $80 on eBay. If you like this video, drop a like. I always appreciate it, and so does the algorithm. If you're interested in more reselling content, I do thrifting, I do retail arbitrage for Amazon, so consider subscribing to my channel. I make at least one video a month all about my full-time reseller adventures. Follow me on Instagram if you want little bite-sized pieces of my content. I post a lot of my like eBay solds and stuff over there, and some interesting reels. If you have a TikTok, follow me on TikTok. I'm currently doing a series about AI stuff over there. It's not reselling related, it's just for fun. And special thanks to my top level Patreon supporters, William, Rosie, Erica, Eco, and Mr. John. Now get out there, have fun, and find some good Blu-rays.